Spore certainly was a game, eh? I remember being ridiculously excited for this game when I was a kid. I'd rewatch all the promotional materials. Once the standalone creature creator came out, I'd play it all the time. And as a small child, I was blissfully unaware of the concept of aggressive DRM, so I had no complaints when it finally did release. I even got the pre-release version in a fancy box that came with an art book and stuff. Apparently you needed a developed prefrontal cortex to get upset about the removed aquatic stage, complete degradation of the promised advanced procedural animation system, and the lack of any semblance to real-world evolution. So to start, we pick one of the randomly available planets in our galaxy, struggle continuously to click the buttons. I think this is because I'm playing in too high a resolution. I don't really know what's happening here. And then eventually get a nice cutscene showing that life originated on this planet via the fringe theory of panspermia, further removing any possibility for Spore to educate 10-year-old me back in 2008. This begins our millennia-long journey through Spore's 5 stages, from cell to creature to tribe to civilization to space. The game starts you off as what is supposedly a single-cell organism despite having human eyes. This is the cell stage, where you swim around eating things that randomly pop into existence at the edges of the screen, again probably because Spore was not made to be played in a modern screen resolution. I actually don't mind cell stage at all. It's simple and relaxing and a great way to slowly introduce the concepts of creature creation in a 2D environment before progressing to the 3D creature stage. Your choices in this stage, and all the other stages for that matter, have effects on all subsequent stages. Here in the cell stage, what you choose to feed your cell will determine if your creature will be a carnivore, omnivore, or herbivore, which will then impact the game throughout the creature and tribal stages. So remember when Spore was going to have an aquatic stage spanning the gap between cell and creature? To be fair, cell stage kind of became that in a way, in that these are clearly not single-cellular organisms. This is much more akin to a fish than an amoeba. Just like in real life, once we've eaten enough food, our single cell grows a multicellular brain. I'm really not letting up on literally interpreting the title cell stage, huh? And with that, we are able to progress on to the creature stage. Having eaten mostly meat, my creature is now a carnivore. Now, creature stage is definitely where a good chunk of the development effort went. The rest of the effort probably going to space stage. It makes sense too. One of the largest draws of the game is your ability to create and customize a creature. Replaying it now certainly doesn't feel as fun as it did when I was a kid, probably mostly due to the fact that my mouse cursor is broken and clicking things is really difficult. Although the act of actually designing a creature is still fun. In creature stage, you have to either befriend or kill the other species you encounter. To do this, you have different abilities, 4 for social and 4 for combat. Combat really seems to come down to button mashing. You don't really have precise control over your creature's movement, and the most strategy you can do is to charge at enemies to stun them, and to spit poison at them from a distance. For socializing, you have to match the moves the other creatures do, with your performance based on the differences between your stats and how many creatures are on either side. The only strategy here is to try to isolate individual members of the other species, so that their side has no bonus for grouping up. You know, it's just occurring to me now that I'm missing the Creepy and Cute Parts Pack, which was a DLC that added 60 new parts for creature customization that are, as the name suggests, either creepy or cute. And frankly, I am not going to buy that DLC for the second time. I already bought the base game again to have it on Steam because I have no idea what my original account info was. Spore, please Spore, the DRM, it's been almost 20 years, please just let me play the game I bought. Also, remember when Spore was going to be about evolution, but instead became some kind of intelligent design simulator where you just spend DNA points to do whatever you want? It's just like in real life. Anyway, once you defeat or befriend enough creatures, you do a nice 2001 homage and learn how to make fire. Onward to the tribal stage. So here we are at the worst stage. Okay, I don't actually mean that. I do have a bit of a soft spot for the tribal stage. In a similar way to how the cell stage acts as a bit of a demo for the creature stage, this acts as a bit of the demo for the civilization stage, with you learning its basic real-time strategy mechanics. Much like the creature stage, we are either befriending or defeating rival tribes, this time using tools instead of creature parts. I also somewhat prefer this over the civilization stage, if only because here I'm actually ordering around individuals of my species that I created, which I care a lot more about than ordering around cars that I design, but we'll see that later. Remember when Spore had a Dr. Pepper sponsored DLC, where you had to buy specially marked bottles of Dr. Pepper in 2010 only in order to get robot parts on your creatures? Unfortunately, it was only available in the USA, and I also don't drink Dr. Pepper. Oh wait, no, it was available in Canada too? Oh, I should have bought some Dr. Pepper. Oh well. Again, some choices from the previous stages are coming in to affect the gameplay. As a carnivore, I have to kill animals to get more food, which is then used as the currency to birth more villagers or build new buildings. Herbivores, on the other hand, harvest fruit from trees, and omnivores, of course, can do whatever they want. It's a minor difference, but certainly contributes to making the stages all feel a bit more cohesive. You also get access to special abilities based on your previous choices, like being able to set traps to kill creatures for having been a carnivore in the cell stage. Tribal stage goes by very fast, and before you know it, we've unified all the tribes, who will then instantly vanish once we hit Civilization stage. Civilization is a historical-themed turn-based strategy franchise started by Sid Meier in 1991, and no, I'm not going to do this bit. Civilization stage takes the real-time strategy of the tribal stage and extends it to the scale of the entire planet, now requiring planes and boats to traverse the oceans and take over other continents. The currency now is Spore bucks, which are primarily made through harvesting spice from the geysers dotted around the planet. The fact that the planet remains unchanged throughout the stages with the same placement of things like these giant crystals is a nice way, again, to make the whole experience feel a bit more cohesive. In Civilization stage, you have 3 different paths to victory, each one letting you take over other cities for your own. That is either through military conquest, religious conversion, or economic dominance. I feel like religion and military are basically the same, in that you send tanks to shoot at other cities. Just the religious ones shoot magic religion beams and can be countered by the happiness of a city, whereas the military ones shoot military beams and can be countered by guns. Trade is at least a more unique mechanic, where you set up a trade route that eventually allows you to buy the other city outright. To get back on complaining about EA and their DRM, remember when they made a Spore spin-off game, Darkspore, that they then shut down the servers for and now it's completely unplayable? This was a single-player game, mind you, with online DRM servers, and they just shut it down and now it's just gone. Admittedly, it didn't look that good, but like... Anyway, once you hit 4 cities, you unlock planes, and normally there's 4 cities on your starting continent, so you never really need to buy boats, just mass land units, take the main continent, sell them, mass planes, take over the world, you win. You also always have an option to instantly win after taking 6 cities, as long as you have enough money. Also, once you have taken over the majority of the planet, if you have a high relationship score with the remaining cities, they'll just agree to join you. With that, the Civilization stage is done, on to what is surely the best stage. At least, that's what I thought, but now playing the space stage makes me just wish I was playing Stellaris instead. Basically, the gameplay is you fly your ship around to different star systems, founding colonies and terraforming planets to support life. You can do missions for other spacefaring civilizations in order to ally with them, or you can just destroy them as you see fit, building up your empire as an interstellar ship captain. As an endgame challenge, you can evade the evil cyborg Grok's empire that controls the central portion of the galaxy in order to reach the galactic center, where you go through a wormhole and watch yourself die and become a space baby or something in another clear 2001 homage. Okay, that doesn't happen. You just meet Steve.
I'm Steve.
Who gives you 42 copies of the Genesis device from Wrath of Khan. I too love sci-fi references. Spore gets, I think, rightfully criticized for missing the mark in a lot of ways, but credit where credit is due, the Galactic Adventures expansion pack was a great effort in broadening the creative scope of the game post-release. This allowed players to make their own levels that you play in as your space captain, letting you beam down to the surface of a planet and experience creature stage-like gameplay while going through short narratives with combat and socialization puzzles. It also adds a new editor where you can outfit your captain with weapons and tools. You can play these levels as part of your space stage experience, and subscribe to other users online to have their levels populate your galaxy, or at least you could do that if you were able to log into your account. You can also just play the different levels directly from the main menu. There was this one, let's say, genre of level I really enjoyed called Xenoplanets, which was started by a user named Parkaboy, where the main conceit was that you'd make some sort of natural or cultural showcase of the home planet of whatever alien you had last played the game as, and package that up into an adventure for other people to play. I was searching it on YouTube recently out of nostalgia and found myself on this top 10 Xenoplanets adventure list from like 15 years ago. That's crazy. I appreciate being on the list, man, but like, I'm gonna be honest, could you just not find more than 10 adventures to put on this? Like, mine looks awful, man. What am I even looking at? But no, it was cool to see this. I'd forgotten I made it. I wish I could find some more of the other stuff I made back then. I was checking the Sporepedia, and the only thing I could find that I made was this one garden gnome that got on the trending page at the time. 3rd place most popular new. Wow. Peak of my 10-year-old life. Anyway, that's Spore. I played a ton of this as a kid, and it is certainly not as good as I remember. I think the space stage was always one of the biggest draws, and it is now entirely outdone by better games. The only unique thing that the game still excels at, okay, maybe excels is a strong word, is the creature stage, and the fact that all these different stages of your evolution and societal progress are linked together into one single game. In retrospect, I do think it was impossible for Spore to ever live up to the hype, literally billing itself as sim everything from the start. Those are some huge boots to fill, and it's no wonder they missed the mark. Still, I have fond memories of it, and I can't bring myself to say I don't like the game. I certainly do like Spore. It definitely has its own janky charm. That said, I would love to see another studio take a stab at making a more cohesive and scientifically sound version of this concept in the future. Okay, bye.